When it comes to the NFL draft, we are constantly talking about Power 5 prospects and to some regard, some of the guys from the group of 5, but there is a lot of talent to be had outside of the FBS, and we're going to talk about that today. Starting with number 10, Ryan Flournoy, wide receiver out of Southeast Mizzou, coming in at 6'1", 202 pounds, and he was a zero-star recruit out of the 2018 class. Part of that was an ACL injury he suffered his senior year. He ends up going to Central Missouri where he redshirted. Then the following year, he was a little banged up, but still managed to play in 10 games. And ultimately, he decided to transfer to Iowa Western Community College, where in 2021 ended up being their leading receiver. He ends up transferring to Southeast Mizzou and instantly was a first-team All-Ohio Valley Conference player. Dude was legit. Unfortunately, some injuries led him to only playing, I think, about 9 games this past season, but ends up making a name for himself at the Senior Bowl by simply looking like he belonged. I mean, that goes a long way for these guys that play in lower competition. I mean, the dude he looked like a smooth athlete. I wouldn't say like home run speed, like not a guy that's going to consistently win vertically, but sure hands. He was quick out of his release. Like, I like his release package quite a bit. He's got inside outside versatility, and like all in all, man, like this is definitely a cat to watch out for. I got him in like the mid to late day 3 area. At number 9, I have Isaiah Davis, running back out of South Dakota State, and let me tell you, this ain't going to be the last South Dakota State prospect you see on this list, as they've become the powerhouse in the FCS. But he's coming in at 6 foot, 220 pounds. He spent the last 4 years there at South Dakota State after being a zero-star recruit in the 2020 class, and he is a thick boy. Thick boy, great contact balance, plays with great power. He is a bruiser as a back, coming off a really good year where he had over 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns. Dude's legit, man. The dude is legit. If you are looking for a power back with some good vision, he is your guy. He plays with actually really good patience as well. Won't have blistering speed. He's not going to be that guy that's going to hit the home run shot. Might be limited a little bit in terms of what he can do on passing downs, but a cat that is through and through probably one of the better power back options on day 3. At number 8, I have Khristian Boyd, defensive tackle out of Northern Iowa, coming in at 6'2", 320 pounds. And not a lot of guys on the defensive interior in this class has his type of size. That's going to be valuable, and that's why I got him in this like mid day 3 range. And he was aided by what he did during the Shrine Bowl practices, as he was consistently winning. Like, he's got some legit burst at 320 pounds. He plays with very quick hands, strong grip, and even when he can't reach the quarterback, he does a nice job of freeing up other pass rushers to go in and basically like take all the glory. Now, he does lack ideal length, does have trouble maintaining leverage. If you go back to his film, you'll kind of notice like there are definitely some like droughts when it comes to him as a pass rusher, but that body, what he could bring as a guy that could stay on the field all 3 downs, is immense. It is huge. And I mean, this past season, he was actually really successful as a pass rusher with a 10.9% pass rush win rate with 40 pressures and 3 sacks. At number 7, I have Dylan Laube, running back out of New Hampshire, coming in at 5'10", 206 pounds, and he's probably the best receiving back in this class. He was a zero-star recruit coming out of high school, where his senior year, he had over 2,600 yards and 47 touchdowns. Kind of ludicrous. Did redshirt his freshman season and kind of emerged in 2019 as this all-purpose threat, as he led the team with all-purpose yards. Didn't become a All-American until 2022, where he did that back-to-back in his final year. Ends up going to the Senior Bowl and was solid enough. Like, you know what you're getting. You know you're getting a guy with very quick feet, very soft hands, natural hands as a pass catcher. Like, honestly, you want to try this guy as a slot receiver, I wouldn't blame you, but he gives you that type of versatility on top of being a solid pass protector, a guy that can be a just spectacular in the return game. He gives you a lot of aspects. I just don't know if if you're looking at him as like this kind of like true running back, he's not that. He's not that guy. Like his frame, it's a little undersized, and his production did regress in 2023. He was plagued with the occasional drop, though he was thrown at a lot, so I'm not too worried about that. But like, he's patient. He's got good vision. I won't call it great. And sometimes he just tries to get by being, okay, I'm going to out athletic these defenders. I'm going to try to beat them to the corner rather than just kind of like just taking what's given. But all in all, if you're looking for a receiving back, and I mean legit, a guy that you can move anywhere on your offense, then Laube's kind of that guy. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment, and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet, so send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals, and guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel. At number 6, I have Myles Harden, corner out of South Dakota, coming in at 5'11", 195, and he was basically an instant starter the minute he showed up on campus for the Coyotes. He was a first-team all-conference this past season. Unfortunately, there are some injury red flags in 2020 and in 2021. He had season-ending lower body injuries or lower leg injuries, so maybe something I'm kind of curious how that checked out at the combine during the medicals. But we're talking about the prospect, man. This dude is fast. He was recorded going 21 miles an hour at the Shrine Bowl, and you could see that speed on tape. You could especially see it when he's coming downhill, and he's got quite a bit of ball production to his name over the course of his career. 6 interceptions and 16 pass breakups, and plays with good strength. Like, he's got some good power in his frame. He's been a very sure tackler over the course of his career. 7.8% missed tackle rate this past season. Pretty darn solid. However, I do wish his hands were a bit more active when in press, because he's got the play strength for that. And he doesn't always take the most appropriate or angles or the best avenues when trying to get to a ball carrier. And I think he might end up being a slot in the NFL, but I'm not going to say him playing on the outside is totally out of the cards. At number 5, I have Qwan'Tez Stiggers, the corner out of, well, the CFL. He was playing for the Argonauts last season, and he's coming in 5'11", 203, and you might be like, why is there a Canadian football player eligible for the draft? Well, technically, he is 4 years removed from high school, which makes him eligible for the draft. This would be the first year he would have been eligible for the draft. Now, let's kind of run through how he got here, essentially. As he initially was going to Lane College. He was a 0-star recruit, but he ends up, and he was going there on a football scholarship. He ends up dropping out because he was dealing with tragedy in his life. His father just recently passed away after injuries from a car crash. So he was kind of learning how to deal with that. He ended up not playing football for the next 2 years, and then he pops back up in the fan-controlled football league. Just utterly wild. He has 5 interceptions during that time, and then the offensive coordinator for the Argonauts was like, hey, come try out for a Canadian football team. And he ends up actually landing with the Argonauts, where he was the CFL's most outstanding rookie. He won that award. So just a wild journey, wild path to get here. Now, he's a dude with good size at 5'11", 203, and he's really fast. He was clocked at going 20 miles an hour there during Shrine Bowl practices. He was probably one of the best looking corners there at the Shrine Bowl, in my opinion. He's very good in press, and he uses his hands exceptionally well to keep basically pass catchers at base, keep just being able to stick with them in phase and stay in their hip pocket. And even looked good in off coverage. He does just a good job of contesting the catch point. Broke up a lot of passes there during the Shrine Bowl. And this is largely the only source of tape I have on him. I don't know how you can get CFL All 22. If you do, let me know. So that's kind of my knock there. Also, lack of experience, never really played at the college level. And that's gonna be, I'm kind of curious, but this is a guy that I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for in a big way. Currently got a 5th round grade on him. At number 4, I have Jalyx Hunt, the edge out of Houston Baptist, coming in at 6'4", 252 pounds. And essentially, to sum him up, he's a guy with all the physical and athletic tools that's just very unpolished and super new to the position. He's got close to 34.5-inch arms. He ran a 4.64 40, 37.5 inches in the vert, 128 inches in the broad. He had really good agility scores. And let's kind of run through his journey real quick. He was a no-star, 0-star recruit in the 2019 class, where he was playing receiver and defensive back in high school. He also played basketball, ran track, ends up going to Cornell, where he's playing as a safety. So in 2021, he had 1 start at safety, mainly played special teams, decided to transfer, wanted more playing time, and goes to Houston Christian and makes the jump to edge, where he started 11 games, was a second-team All-Southland Conference, and then 2023 ends up being a first-team All-Southland Conference. And he might have a small toolbox of pass rush moves. The technique, yeah, it needs a little tweaking. He may lack ideal play strength, but he's stupid explosive. Being a former safety, former wide receiver, the get off is great. The closing speed is great. He's very flexible. He tracks down ball carriers with that pursuit. Like, he is just such an interesting developmental prospect in this class. I think it's kind of like worth taking a shot on someone like this. At number 3, I have Garret Greenfield, tackle out of South Dakota State. I said this wasn't the last time you're going to see them South Dakota State boys. So he's coming in at 6'6", 313 pounds, and he's essentially been a starter for the better part of the last 4 seasons. He's been a All-American the last 2. Does have a little experience on the right side. Started 14 games at right tackle in 2021. And I'm just a huge fan of this cat. He's got a lot of upper body strength. He throws really good strikes. He's a plus athlete. Decent. I say decent. He's got like 34-inch arms, but good length as well. Just understands blocking angles and how to hit his landmarks. Just a cat that I feel has a lot of potential. Where he loses is the leverage game, doesn't really sink low. There are times where he will overextend in the run game and play a bit off balance. And I feel like this is a guy that's his footwork should be a whole lot better. I know he's got quick feet, so I want to see him a little bit more comfortable in his pass sets and working backwards. But I would take this cat at the beginning of day 3, easy. Like, if he snuck into the back end of the 3rd round, I wouldn't be shocked. From what I'm seeing, it looks like largely people see it more as like a mid to late day 3 pick, which kind of blows my mind, man. I honestly, I like him better than guys like Christian Jones out of Texas, Kaden Wallace out of Penn State, Javon Foster out of Mizzou. So, like, man, I think he's a swing tackle early on who could land a starting job sooner rather than later. I'm going to stick at tackle for number 2 as I'm going to go over Yale's tackle, Kiran Amegadjie, coming in at 6'5", 223 pounds in 2022. He was a first-team All-Ivy League, and unfortunately this year he was limited to 4 games because of a season-ended quad injury. But what do you like about him? Well, first off, the length. 36 and an 1/8 inch arms. Kind kind of ludicrous, kind of nutty. He probably would have been a hot riser if he was able to partake in the offseason draft process. And unfortunately, that quad injury kind of limited what he could do. But he is definitely he's a good athlete. He's, at the very least, a much better athlete than anyone playing in the trenches in the Ivy League. Like, he just kind of dominated. He fires out of his stance. He shows good flexibility and bend in his lower half. Just, again, ideal length, ideal foot quicks. A guy that you just feel really good as a developmental project there at the tackle position. Just has a lot of good tools. And I mean, honestly, his biggest knock is probably the lower level of competition he played at. And it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to take part in the All-Star circuit, because I really do think he probably would have been a hot riser. I got him in the mid-day 2 area, so late second, early to mid-third. Kind of feels right for him. And then my top non-FBS prospect, Mason McCormick. It's a guy that I've been talking about a hell of a lot the last few weeks. Matter of fact, I just talked about him on Tuesday when I was talking about the old men, because he will be 24 at the beginning of his rookie season. But ideally, he's probably playing left guard for whatever team drafts him. He's coming in at 6'4", 305. And really, just to sum up some of the things I like about him, because I already talked about him on Tuesday, but the dude was a team leader, team captain last 2 seasons. He has been a first-team All-American the last 2 seasons as well. I think he looked really good at center during the Shrine. He's got the type of length and athleticism, makes you think he could moonlight at tackle if you really need him to. But I think he plays with a lot of power in his frame. I think he's got incredibly great movement skills. He's got a lot of experience under the belt. It's just sometimes he'll play a little bit tall, and I would say his hand placement is a bit all over the place. But at the end of the day, man, he goes top 50. Won't shock me none. That's kind of where I have him. But a guy that I'm consistently seeing mocked on day 3, and I don't get it. I just don't. Let me know who are some of your favorite non-FBS prospects in the comment section below. If you want more draft content, I'll leave some videos down here for you to check out. But until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.